All right, we're learning the chapters of the fathers. We are now on, I think, the Mishnah number 12, I think. And we learned the chain of, what do they call it? The chain of teaching of the Torah, and how God taught Moses the Torah, and Moses gave it over to Joshua, and Joshua gave it over to the wise men. They called the Shoftim, the judges, and the judges gave it over to the prophets, and the prophets gave it over to the men of the Great Assembly, and the men of the Great Assembly, they gave it over to pairs of wise men. That one of the pair was called the Nasi. He was like the leader of the Jews, and the other one was called Av Beit Din. He was the head of the Sanhedrin. So we learned all these different partners that there were: Yehuda ben Tabai, Shimon ben Shetach, and some of the wise words that they were known for, the wisdom that they gave over to us. And then we had Shmaya and Avatalion. Shmaya and Avatalion, they received from the two we just said before. And their sayings, what they said. And we have Hillel and Shammai. That's what we're up to now. So we have Hillel said, you should be one of the pupils of Aaron. You should love peace, pursue peace, love the creations, people, and bring them close to Torah. So what does it mean? It says that Hillel, he was a tremendous genius, a very holy person, and he used to make peace. It was a big thing, making peace. He couldn't stand to see arguments and this. So he said he was like Aaron. He learned from Aaron. What did Aaron do? Aaron was very humble. Here we're going to have 3 levels of holiness. We're going to learn the Tiferes Yisrael. But he said that basically, what did Aaron used to do? Aaron, the Kohen, Moses' brother. So Aaron would see the 2 people were arguing. He would go to one of them and he would say, Beryl, I saw you just had a big argument with Shmerel. Said, yeah, that was about a month ago. I hate his guts. I can't stand. I just, don't even mention his name. Says, well, listen, Shmerel, I was just by Beryl, and he says he's really ashamed. He said that he really likes you, and it's a lie. He's not ashamed at all. He says, Beryl, I just was by Shmerel, and he said that he's really ashamed, and he really likes you, and he really wants to be your friend, and he just lost it, and he started screaming, and he's ashamed to come over. He said, he really said that? He said, yes, he did, and he said that he really admires you, and that you have such wonderful qualities, and it just pains him so much that he lost your friendship. And he says, he really said that? He didn't really say it, but Aaron would lie, because you're allowed to lie for peace. Just that the peace shouldn't be a lie. But he says, so he said, yeah, well, tell him that I forgive him. Tell him I forgive him, and that, but he better not do it again. But the fact is, he really said those things about me. He really likes me. He thinks I'm a good person. Well, the fact is, I really like him too. He's really a good person. If he wouldn't have said those things about me, oh yeah, I really likes. Then he goes over to the other guy, to Beryl. He says, Beryl, I was just by Shmerel. Shmerel, don't even mention his name in my house. I hate his guts. So, well, he just said that he really regrets what he said to you. He really likes you. And he really said that. And by means of this, he would make friends between them. And so he would make friends between a wife and her husband, and etc. He says, therefore, you should be like the pupils of Aaron. You should pursue, you should love peace. You should run after peace. So the Tiferes Yisrael over here, he says that this is referring to 3 types of humility. This is, where is this? Here. Okay, so he says you should run after peace. He says this is speaking about talking, saying words, right? Here I just gave you this whole thing about Aaron saying words, one to the other. He really likes you. The other says you should, and this is in a way of humility, that he loved peace, making peace. What did he mean? He loved peace means that even though that oh, here we go. Yeah. He said, for instance, Aaron was very happy that his brother Moses was chosen to be the leader, even though that Moses was younger. But nevertheless, he was very happy, and he went to meet Moses, and he supported him and everything, and he only said positive things about Moses. Another thing is that means being a pupil of Aaron. You should run after peace. What does that mean? That if you have a friend, you should run after peace. You should do everything you can in order to make peace with somebody who is on the same level as you. And you should also bring them to Torah. These are people that are below you, like Moses did, that he drew everyone to Torah. And he says, even if they are just the brios, mekarvim oevet the briot. He says you have to love the creations, even though if there's a person that the only thing good you can say about him is that God created him. There's no other good qualities whatsoever. But it says, oevet the briot, you should love every Jew. Just because God created him, that's a good enough a reason to love another Jew. And therefore, he says you should bring them to Torah. Don't bring the Torah to them. Don't water the Torah down in order to make it popular. But on the other hand, you can, with love, draw a person close to the Torah. You can say, okay, listen, you don't have to do all of it at one time. You can take little by little steps. Any little thing you do is wonderful. And I'll tell you one little small story, and that's it for today. They said someone came up to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I think I told you the story before, but someone told Rebbe. And they said, Lubavitcher Rebbe, you say that all the Jews are going to come back to Judaism. They're all going to do you have any idea where the Jewish people are? I mean, are you living in this fantasy world where all the Jews are going to back to Torah? That's virtually impossible. So the Rebbe said, the Jews simply don't want to do they're far away, they don't. So the Rebbe said, that's what Chabad Hasidut teaches. That's why only Chabad Hasidut can bring all the Jews back, because we teach that if a Jew does one commandment, the word commandment needs to be attached. If one Jew does one commandment, then he is totally attached to the infinite. Infinite means all the time, all the space, all the time, constantly. He is constantly attached to God. If he just does one commandment in his life, he's totally attached to God. But the fact is that every Jew wants to do all the commandments, even though there's no benefit. He did one commandment, that's enough. But every Jew wants to do all of the commandments. And by giving a Jew to do one commandment, it'll wake up this natural desire inside of every Jew. That's what it means, Makaravim, Oeves Abrios, love even the creations and bring them close to the Torah. Have a good day with Mashiach. Now, God willing, tomorrow, 8:15 in the morning, Hasidut.